What's up, everybody? It's your favorite Captain Nemo's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the underwater setting for a Transformers diorama. Some of this always ends up being a bit of a repeat in terms of information, but this is 4 videos that I did on Patreon that were full length. They're sped up to about 800% for the most part, and on there, I go through a detailed explanation of every piece of material that I use, usually where you can buy it, etc., etc. If you're interested in that, go to Patreon. The tutorials are there. This won't be that, and that won't be this. This is just more of a talk about the process and allowing you guys to see it. And then also, lastly, at the end, I will let you see my kind of reaction to seeing it in service, for lack of a better term, for the first time in real life. So this one actually does yield one new piece of explanation. But in order to get there, I do have to retread something. So I am not a fan of putting Transformers in kind of Cybertronian cartoon settings. I don't think it works. I don't think it looks good. I think it makes them look worse. I think it cheapens the whole thing. It's very rare that I've seen it work, with few exceptions. I've actually, El Now Customs has made it work beautifully, but using Legends, and I think it actually does lend itself to Legends. So I'm always looking for real world settings to put them in, especially the more cartoon looking they get, the more real world settings, in my opinion, end up making them look a little bit more believable. So the one of the challenges becomes, new and unique settings, right? There's only so many different kind of environments on the planet, and with also nods to the cartoon. And of course, I wanted to have a nod to the cartoon, just not a literal translation. So one of the challenges was making this an underwater thing, and it was going to be where the Nemesis crashed, as like the cartoon nod, because I have an art crash setting too. Was one of the challenges was to make the seabed look believable, and I just tried this little method of like trying to paint, like, when you see like the bottom of the pool, how it has like those like water lines across it, and anyway, it was quite successful, and surprisingly so, because it was a total risk on my part, but it was just looking at pictures and trying to see how the colors are laid out, and then trying to emulate it with an airbrush. But yeah, recently. When I put up a video of my turtle setting dioramas and some of the other ones, someone made a comment that said, like, your non-Transformer dioramas are better than your Transformer dioramas. And I agree. I totally agree. But the reason why, I think, is because the Transformers are so bulky that they end up needing an awful lot of space. So you can't put a whole ton of detail into the dioramas because, or not detail's the wrong word, but you can't put a whole ton of like 3-dimensional stuff and props and stuff into it because the Transformers literally need the space. So the thought process basically becomes, look, instead of risers, instead of like just using clear acrylic risers, I'm going to create kind of faux environments that are basically just fancy risers. And that allows them to kind of own the space, have all the room, because it's not just them, right? It's all the bulk of their kibble and everything else. Like, it does get complicated. So yeah, that's so like, in short, I agree, but it's hard to get too involved in these things because of the size of the figures. You're dealing with a 1/12 scale figure. You can kind of throw a lot more, at the fan. And I'll be honest with you, or at the wall, right? Something else hits the fan. I'll be honest with you that I don't enjoy doing the Transformer dioramas as much as I enjoy doing a lot of the other dioramas for that exact reason. But it's kind of a matter of necessity being the mother of all invention. The other thing I got to say about this, people always, and they try to correct me in the comments, please, I appreciate the compliments. I get it. I thank you. I'm grateful. I'm humbled. But the overwhelming majority of this stuff takes no talent. It only takes skill, and skill can be learned. Talent is something you're born with. And I can tell you, there's just a learning curve to it. I've sat here in my home with friends of mine who have never picked up a paintbrush and literally made a small diorama with them for their first time, including my 6-year-old then. She's older now, and looks, just as good as a lot of other people's out there. Like, it's just technique and it's skill, and those things can be learned, and they can be attempted and kind of improved upon. And then you start taking risks, and then, then your skill set kind of just widens. As for the Nemesis, it was just a matter of kind of laying in a light color and then laying in the dark color for just shadows to give it like 3-dimensional depth, and then a little bit of line work just to kind of make it seem like it was. And as you can see, I'm using a little reference right there, right on my phone. So no harm, no foul, and kind of can keep it moving. And it turned out way better than I actually expected it to. And it's nice because I have another one where my Trailbreaker and stuff sit that it has the same kind of thing. Like it's like the canyon desert area of all of G1 pretty much, and then in the background is the arc kind of crashed into the mountain. So like, it's another thing with the dioramas that like I do feel like it's like, to me, they're like kind of like characters in and of themselves. So like, I like having the Nemesis, in my collection. Like, it's not a toy, but it's still in my collection. The arc is in my collection. When it comes to like Star Wars and stuff, like Dagobah is in my collection, Tatooine is in my collection. Like it's like it becomes a character in and of itself. The X Mansion is in my collection. So this is really just finishing up here, and then I'm gonna let the kind of real life take over. And I was pleased with this. I think mainly because of the waterbed. But I think it's always worthwhile. And I will do a collection tour now that all of the dioramas are finished. I will do an updated Transformers collection tour very soon that hopefully you guys will enjoy, because, aside from just buying pieces, I got news for you. The hard work is done. Buying pieces is the easy part. And there it is. It's the floor. It makes it. It's the ripples, like the reflection of the water. Like, and even though it doesn't make any sense for like how deep it would be, it sells it. It tells you that it's underwater. And I don't have anybody to go in there. Maybe we'll put Acid Storm in there for the time being. Wow. I'm happy with that. It turned out nice. Oh, I gotta put my little grass things in. So there it is. And my little grass bits they're removable. So I can take them out or move them around as need be. Yeah, I'm pretty happy.